What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Watch It in Action. I'm BouseFeenux, and today we're going to be covering the primary assault rifle weapon, the Karak Wraith. This is a Grineer assault rifle that's basically an upgraded version of the Karak. Now, if you guys have used the Karak and you like that weapon a lot, this is a very solid weapon. The Karak Wraith actually performs very well. Also, now with the sorties, it's a common drop, and you can get it fairly easily. If you can't get it from the sorties, and you're not up to doing those, your gear isn't good enough, or you can't get a group or whatever, you can also buy this from another player, and people are selling it fairly cheaply right now. I like this weapon a lot. I take it on a lot of higher level missions, and it performs very well. On super high level stuff, though, it kind of falls off, though, because it doesn't really have any crit. It has pretty decent status, but it's not enough to really carry it into, like, super far endgame. That being said, though, I do take it on a lot of stuff. It's a fairly good weapon for just about any kind of engagement you're going to get into. It does primarily impact damage like a lot of Grineer weapons do, which kinda isn't the best, but, you know, it could be a lot worse. This weapon is really good against Corpus, because, you know, pretty much that's what the Grineer are fighting all the time, so they're going to mod their weapons to sort of fit that role. But I like this weapon for just about any sort of situation. Now, I've put together a couple different builds for you guys, and I want to take a look at those real quick. So, a viewer mentioned earlier that they would like to see some builds where, you know, if you didn't have Forma, or you didn't feel like formatting the weapon, if you didn't know you liked it enough yet, they would like to see me put together some builds that don't require Forma, and I've done that for you guys, and I'll show you that right after I take a look at this real fast. Going across the top here, we'll notice that we've got 4 Forma on this. This is a 4 Forma build, and it pretty much performs well in just about any situation. All you have to do is change out these elements here, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first up, you'll notice that we're using Split Chamber. This is a fast-firing weapon. It's pretty nice. Having as much multi-shot as possible is going to be awesome. We're going to use multi-shot on pretty much every weapon we do, except for, I think, the Cyanoid Simulator is the only one we don't use multi-shot on. Heavy Caliber is awesome. It's going to give us a damage increase at the cost of accuracy. The fortunate thing with this weapon, though, is it's still fairly accurate. You can hit a target no problem from about at least 50 meters away or more. So no real issue there. Serration is just going to give us a straight 165 damage increase. Definitely a no-brainer. We need that on every weapon we're going to mod. Shred is kind of, you can take it or leave it. I love Shred. I love the fire rate that it offers, and with the Karak Wraith 60-round magazine, super nice to have that on here, because you're not blowing through your whole magazine real quick, and you still get a nice fire rate. On top of that, you also get Punch Through, which is very useful, one of my favorite utilities in the game. Now, our 60% elementals, you can make these anything you want, but I've chosen Malignant Force and High Voltage. These are going to give us 60% elemental damage and 60% status chance, which gives us this decent, like, 53% status chance right here. That's going to proc fairly often because of how fast this weapon fires, and then you got that multi-shot in there too. So, it's fairly accurate, fires really quickly, you got multi-shot, that status is going to be fairly reliable, and we'll see that when we test it out here in a second. Then, to round out the build, I throw on these 2 90% elemental mods. These are pretty nice. These kind of give us a damage buff. Some people might opt for more status chance. You can do that, but I feel like you kind of lose a little bit of DPS. I would rather have these 90% elemental mods here. And like I said, you can rearrange these to fit whatever elemental combo you want. I've just put a dash here. That'll allow you to fit any elemental combo. Really nice there. Very solid build, I think. Taking a look at the stats, we notice that this weapon has almost no critical chance. 5%, kind of low. 2% critical multiplier, or 2 times critical multiplier, not too bad, but, I mean, we're never going to get those, we're hardly ever going to get those crits, so it's not like this really matters anyway. Magazine size is 60, that's double the size of the original Karak. It's a loud weapon, pretty decent reload speed for the size of the magazine. I mean, you fire fast and you can reload pretty quickly, and then there's that 53% status chance. Now, taking a look at the physical damage, a little bit of slash, we got 61, we got 73 puncture, so that's fairly rounded. Impact is going to be the highest of those 3, however, at 110. And then we have our elemental damages right here that are determined by these guys. So, take a look at that. I mean, this is a very solid build. I like it. Like I said, it performs well in the sortie and in a lot of different engagements. And switching over here to the no Forma build, this is going to carry you pretty far, actually. I tested this out, and it does fairly well. The weapon does come with 1 Y polarity, and that's going to allow you to fit a max-ranked Heavy Caliber, a max-ranked Serration, and Split Chamber. I would put the Heavy Caliber in this slot because it's the most expensive of the 3, but, you know, you can switch them around to whatever. This dash pull doesn't exist. I just didn't have anywhere else to put the mods, so This will fit without a dash pull, though, so this whole build will fit without any Forma on and just a potato. That's all you need is just a catalyst here, or, yeah, a catalyst, and you put that on, you'll have 60 capacity, and that'll fit all this stuff with a little bit of space left over. So, again, you can use any element you want here. It doesn't have to be, you know, magnetic or whatever, but, you know, having the 90% I think is really important because that's going to add to your damage, and you need all the damage you can get without any Forma on here. But we're going to try both of these out. The first thing I want to do here is show you the fully formed build, and then we'll try the non-formed build real quick. So I am spec'd for Corpus right now with that electricity and toxin, or that magnetic and toxin or whatever I had, and I want to use this on some Corpus targets. I want to show you how it reacts to them. So we're going to use a couple elite crewmen here, and we're going to use some Corpus techs, because these guys are really beefy, and these guys are very common. So I want to make sure that you guys can take out, you know, a full range of Corpus enemies with this build. And we're going to go ahead and spawn them. I'm going to turn invisible because I'm going to get instantly shreked by these guys. They're super powerful, but we'll just take away their weapons and start firing away. So, you notice it does pretty decent damage. I mean, we can kill these level 90 Corpus techs. They have tons of health. These are like the corrupted ancients of the Corpus units. Next to Oxium Ospreys, they're pretty much the biggest, beefiest units of the Corpus that have actual health. So, this is pretty much the full Forma build. I want to show you guys real quick the non-Forma build. Alright, so let's test this thing out. We're going to use pretty much the same enemy setup that we had before. We're going to go ahead and take these guys' teeth away, and then we're going to start firing away. So you notice that we can actually still kill things. The big thing is without the shred, we're not going to have the punch through, so those big globs of enemies right there are going to be a lot harder to take down. But, I mean, you know, with a few rounds, we can still do some pretty decent damage. We're going to have a hard time killing a lot of those higher level enemies with a lot of health, but you know, for the general Corpus units, I mean, we can pretty much take them out. We can still kill these techs. You know, it's a little bit more difficult. Maybe takes a magazine or two, and then you kind of lose some utility there without the punch through. But it still works. You know, you can do this with no Forma, so I think that makes this a pretty impressive weapon. Very good all-around, solid assault rifle weapon if you like that. The only thing I don't like about it, and this is the same with all Wraith weapons unless they have a skin, you can't change the color on it, so it'll never match your Warframe unless your Warframe is these colors. But guys, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you liked me doing the no Forma thing. I think if you guys like it a lot, I'm going to continue to do that with the rest of my builds here in the future. I really appreciate you for watching, and as always, you can find this build as well as a full text description on BouseFeenux.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.